When someone hurts you, they expect to see you break. They wait for your tears. They wait for your anger. They wait for your desperate questions. They wait for you to chase explanations that will never come. But there is something far more powerful than revenge. Your peace. Nothing confuses a person more than discovering they no longer have the power to disturb your spirit. Do not waste your strength trying to make someone regret hurting you. Become someone who no longer needs their apology. That is where real power begins. Life has a way of introducing us to people who become lessons disguised as love. Some enter your life to comfort you. Some enter your life to challenge you. And some arrive only to teach you what your heart should never settle for again. Pain can either imprison your soul or polish your character. That choice belongs to you. You cannot always decide who disappoints you, but you can always decide who gets access to your peace. Strength is not found in shouting louder. Strength is found in standing taller, not because you were never wounded, but because your wounds refused to define you. Today is not about getting even. Today is about becoming untouchable in spirit. Silence is not weakness. Silence is wisdom wearing confidence. Too many people have been taught that strength is measured by how loudly they can defend themselves. They believe that if they do not answer every insult, every betrayal, every cruel word, they will somehow lose. But real strength has never depended on the volume of your voice. It has always depended on the depth of your character. When someone hurts you, they often expect a performance. They expect tears. They expect long messages, endless arguments, late-night phone calls, emotional reactions that reassure them they still have power over your heart. Do not give them that satisfaction. Do not hand them the proof that they still control your emotions. Instead, become still, because your silence forces them to face something they never expected. Your freedom. Words can be ignored. Arguments can be dismissed. Excuses can be forgotten. But silence. Silence stays in the room long after everyone else has stopped talking. It becomes a mirror that reflects truth. When you refuse to chase someone who has already shown you who they are, you send a message louder than any speech ever could. You tell the world, my peace is worth more than my pride. My dignity is worth more than being understood. Remember this. Not everyone deserves an explanation. Some people have already made up their minds about you before you even open your mouth. They are not listening to understand you. They are listening to defend themselves. They are waiting for your reaction so they can justify their actions. Do not become part of that cycle. Walk away with your peace intact. There is incredible power in refusing to argue with someone who has already decided not to value your truth. Every unnecessary explanation steals a little piece of your dignity. Every desperate attempt to be understood by someone committed to misunderstanding you drains your spirit. Stop pouring your energy into empty places. Stop trying to convince people to see your worth. The right people will never require you to beg for respect. You owe no one a defense for choosing peace. You owe no one permission to protect your heart. Some people only understand noise. Give them stillness instead. Some people expect chaos. Some people wait for your collapse. Stand anyway. Not because it doesn't hurt, it does. Not because betrayal leaves no scars, it does. But because you have decided that your future will not be built on yesterday's pain. There comes a moment in every strong person's life when they realize they no longer need the last word. They no longer need to win every argument. They no longer need everyone to agree with them. That moment is freedom. Freedom is waking up without carrying someone else's opinion on your shoulders. Freedom is sleeping peacefully because your conscience is clear. Freedom is choosing your own healing over someone else's approval. Protect your energy. Your energy is sacred. It determines how you love, how you dream, how you work, how you serve. Do not waste it on people who celebrate your confusion instead of your growth. Protect your spirit. Your spirit was never designed to become a battlefield for other people's insecurities. Feed it with faith, feed it with hope, feed it with truth. Protect the sacred place inside you that refuses to become bitter, because bitterness promises strength but delivers chains. Forgiveness, however, gives you wings. You do not forgive because the other person deserves it. You forgive because your soul deserves peace. You refuse to carry anger into a future that is calling you toward purpose, because peace is expensive. It costs your ego. It costs your desire to prove yourself. It costs your need to always be right, but it gives you something priceless in return. Clarity, confidence, freedom. Do not spend your peace cheaply. Do not trade your calm for another argument. Do not sacrifice your joy trying to change someone who has chosen not to grow. Stand tall. Stay quiet when quiet is wise. Speak only when your words can build what silence cannot. And let your life become the loudest answer to every person who expected your brokenness, but instead witnessed your unshakable strength. Control begins where emotional dependence survives. Ride that again. Control begins where emotional dependence survives. The moment your happiness depends on someone else's approval, they hold a piece of your freedom. The moment your confidence rises and falls with their attention, your peace is no longer your own. That is how invisible chains are formed, not around your hands, but around your heart. The moment you stop begging for understanding, you become free. The moment you stop explaining yourself to people who have already chosen not to listen, you become free. The moment you stop chasing validation from someone who enjoys watching you question your worth, you become free. Freedom is not found in changing another person's mind. Freedom is found in reclaiming your own. Do not measure your worth by someone's inability to value you. A flower does not become less beautiful because one person refuses to notice its fragrance. The sun does not stop rising because someone chooses to close their curtains. And your value does not disappear because someone failed to recognize it. Never allow another person's blindness to become your identity. Some people cannot appreciate loyalty because they have never learned how to give it. Some people cannot recognize kindness because they have become comfortable with taking it for granted. That is their limitation. Do not make it your burden. A person who hurts you is often hoping your identity remains attached to their opinion. They expect you to keep wondering if you were enough. They expect you to keep replaying every conversation. They expect you to carry the weight of their choices as though they were your responsibility. Break that chain. Break it with courage. Break it with self-respect. Break it by refusing to let another person's actions decide how you see yourself. Look in the mirror. Really look. Do not search for the person who was broken yesterday. See the person who survived. See someone becoming stronger. See someone becoming wiser. See someone whose tears watered the soil where resilience began to grow. Every challenge has carved something beautiful into your character. Every disappointment has taught you what peace truly looks like. Every betrayal has reminded you that your strength did not come from people. It came from within. See someone refusing to carry another person's cruelty as personal truth, because cruelty speaks about the one who gives it, not the one who receives it. When someone tries to make you feel small, remember that secure people do not spend their time shrinking others. Healthy hearts do not delight in breaking people. Loving souls do not enjoy causing pain. Never confuse another person's brokenness with your value. You are not what they called you. You are not the names spoken in anger. You are not the lies whispered behind your back. You are not the criticism designed to weaken your confidence. Those words belong to them, not to you. You are not what they failed to appreciate. Their inability to recognize your loyalty does not erase your loyalty. Their inability to celebrate your kindness does not make your kindness less real. Their inability to love you well does not mean you were difficult to love. Sometimes people lose extraordinary things because they never learned how to treasure them. Do not mistake their loss for your lack. You are not the rejection. You are not the goodbye. You are not the chapter that ended. You are the lesson that continued growing after the storm. You are the soul that refused to stay buried beneath disappointment. You are proof that pain can shape a person without destroying them, and that is a rare kind of strength. The strongest answer is not proving them wrong. The strongest answer is living so fully that proving anything no longer matters. There comes a beautiful day when you no longer care who doubted you. You are too busy becoming the person you were created to be. You stop counting who left. You start appreciating who stayed. You stop looking backward. You start building forward. That is healing. Walk differently. Walk with confidence instead of fear. Walk with dignity instead of desperation. Walk knowing that every step away from emotional dependence is a step toward your freedom. Think differently. I'm self-doubt with self-respect. I'm fear with faith. I'm resentment with wisdom. Choose thoughts that build your future instead of imprisoning you in your past. Loathe yourself differently. Speak to yourself with compassion. Protect your heart without hardening it. Celebrate your growth instead of criticizing your scars. Become the safe place you once searched for in other people, because when you truly love yourself, you stop accepting love that asks you to abandon your dignity, and that transformation cannot be hidden. People will notice the calm in your voice, the confidence in your walk, the peace in your decisions. Not because you became cold, but because you became whole. That change speaks louder than revenge ever could. Your healing becomes your victory. Your peace becomes your answer. And your unshakable self-worth becomes the one thing no one can ever control again. Pain always asks a question, not with words, not with a voice you can hear, but with a quiet challenge that echoes deep inside your soul. Will this break you? Or will this build you? Every person who has ever walked through betrayal, disappointment, or heartbreak eventually stands at this crossroads. One path leads to bitterness, the other leads to wisdom. One path keeps you chained to yesterday. The other opens the door to a future you cannot yet imagine. The choice is never easy, but it is always yours. Every heartbreak carries hidden wisdom. Listen carefully. Pain has a language of its own. It does not shout, it whispers. It teaches lessons that comfort never could. The moments that make you cry often reveal the truths you were too distracted to see when everything felt easy. Heartbreak teaches you the value of genuine love. Disappointment teaches you the importance of discernment. Loneliness teaches you how to become your own safe place. Failure teaches you resilience. And loss teaches you that nothing in this world should become more important than your peace. Do not rush past the lesson because you are eager to escape the pain. Sometimes the greatest gift is hidden inside the greatest struggle. Not everyone deserves permanent access to your heart. That is not bitterness. That is wisdom. Your heart is sacred. It is not a place where everyone deserves to live. Some people enter your life to encourage you, some come to challenge you, and some arrive only to reveal the standards you must never lower again. Do not confuse access with entitlement. Just because someone was once close to you does not mean they deserve to remain there forever. Love without wisdom becomes self-destruction. Kindness without boundaries becomes exhaustion. Forgiveness without discernment becomes repeated suffering. Protect your heart without closing it. Guard your peace without losing your compassion. Not every goodbye is a tragedy. Some goodbyes are quiet miracles. Some endings rescue you from a future filled with unnecessary pain. We often grieve what left without realizing what stayed. Your dignity stayed, your purpose stayed, your dreams stayed, your ability to love again stayed. The chapter ended, the story did not. Sometimes separation is protection wearing unfamiliar clothes. What feels like rejection today may one day become the reason you smile with gratitude. Life has a remarkable way of removing people who no longer fit the person you are becoming. At first it feels unfair, it feels confusing, it feels painful. But time has a beautiful habit of revealing what emotions cannot yet understand. Do not curse every closed door. Some doors were never meant to become your home. Some opportunities disappear because they would have distracted you from your destiny. Some relationships end because they could never carry the weight of your future. You may stand before a closed door today wondering why it happened. Years from now you may thank God that it did. Some doors were locked to save your future, not to punish you, not to embarrass you, not to make you feel forgotten, but to redirect you towards something greater than your current understanding. Faith grows strongest when certainty disappears. Anyone can believe when life makes sense. Anyone can trust when every prayer is answered immediately. Real faith is choosing hope when you cannot yet see the outcome. Real faith is walking forward when the road is still covered in fog. Real faith is believing that every delay has purpose, that every disappointment has meaning, that every tear is counted. Believe that what left your life also made room for something better. Nature teaches us this truth every season. Trees release old leaves before new ones appear. The earth lets go of winter before welcoming spring. Growth always requires release. Do not cling to what has already chosen to leave. Open your hands. What is meant for you will never require you to abandon your self-respect to keep it. Trust that healing does not happen overnight. Healing is not one dramatic moment. It is thousands of quiet decisions. It happens one decision at a time, one boundary at a time, one act of self-respect at a time, one prayer at a time, one sunrise at a time. One morning you wake up and the pain feels just a little lighter. One afternoon you realize you smiled without forcing it. One evening you notice that the memory no longer has the power to steal your peace. That is healing. Slow, gentle, steady. Keep choosing yourself, even when it feels unfamiliar. Keep choosing peace over chaos. Keep choosing growth over resentment. Keep choosing truth over fear. Keep choosing hope. Hope is not pretending that life has never hurt you. Hope is believing that life still has something beautiful waiting for you. Keep choosing tomorrow, because your best chapter has never depended on the people who walked away. It depends on the person you choose to become after they leave. And that person can be stronger, kinder, wiser, more courageous than ever before, because scars are proof that you fought battles you thought would destroy you, proof that you survived nights you believed would never end. Proof that your heart kept beating when everything around you seemed to fall apart. Pain visited your life. It knocked on your door. It left its mark. But it never became the owner of your life. It became your teacher. And because you chose to learn instead of surrender, your greatest wounds became the very place where your greatest strength was born. The greatest confusion you can create is growth, not revenge. Growth, anyone can seek revenge. Anyone can spend years trying to prove a point, waiting for the perfect moment to make someone regret the way they treated them. But revenge keeps your eyes fixed on the past. Growth turns your eyes toward the future. The people who expected your downfall rarely know what to do when they see you becoming stronger instead. They expected tears. They found peace. They expected anger. They found wisdom. They expected you to remain trapped in yesterday. Instead, they discovered someone who kept walking forward. That is true victory. Let them wonder why you smile again. Let them wonder why the sadness they thought would define you became only a chapter in your story. Let them wonder how your laughter returned after all you endured. Not because you are pretending nothing happened, but because you refuse to let what happened decide who you would become. A healed heart carries a different kind of smile. It is quieter. It is deeper. It is earned. Let them wonder why your confidence returned. Confidence built on appearance can disappear overnight. Confidence built on applause fades when the crowd grows silent. But confidence built through survival, that kind of confidence cannot be taken away. You know what it feels like to lose. You know what it feels like to cry when no one was watching. You know what it feels like to rebuild yourself one broken piece at a time. That is why your confidence no longer depends on anyone else's opinion. It comes from knowing what you have overcome. Let them wonder why your joy became louder than your disappointment. Joy is not the absence of pain. Joy is the decision to keep living beautifully despite it. There is something powerful about a person who has every reason to become bitter, but chooses gratitude instead. That choice changes everything. Your joy becomes proof that pain did not win. Your peace becomes evidence that your spirit refused to surrender. And the world notices, not because you demanded attention, but because genuine healing has a quiet light that cannot be hidden. Success is quiet. The strongest people rarely feel the need to announce every victory. They simply continue growing. They continue learning. They continue building. While others spend their energy explaining themselves, they spend theirs becoming better. Your life will always speak louder than your words. Healing is graceful. Healing does not always arrive with dramatic moments. Sometimes it looks like sleeping peacefully after months of restless nights. Sometimes it looks like laughing without guilt. Sometimes it looks like hearing the name of the person who hurt you and realizing your heart no longer races. That is grace. That is progress. That is freedom. Character is unforgettable. Booty fades. Money comes and goes. It changes. But character remains. People may forget what you owned. They may forget what you wore. They may even forget what you said. But they will never forget how your character made them feel. Build a life where integrity becomes your reputation. Let honesty become your language. Let compassion become your strength. Let humility become your crown. You do not need to announce your comeback. Live it. Do not waste your energy trying to convince people that you have changed. Transformation does not need advertisement. It needs consistency. Walk with confidence. Speak with wisdom. Carry yourself with dignity. Allow your daily choices to tell the story your words no longer need to explain. Your discipline becomes your answer. When you wake up and continue working on yourself, you answer every doubt. When you keep your promises to yourself, you answer every criticism. When you remain committed to your goals while others expect you to quit, you answer every voice that underestimated you. Discipline creates a future that excuses never will. Your kindness becomes your answer. Never allow pain to convince you that cruelty is strength. The world already has enough people who spread hurt. Become someone who spreads hope instead. Kindness is not weakness. It is proof that your heart refused to become like the hearts that wounded it. There is courage in remaining gentle after life has been hard. There is greatness in choosing compassion when bitterness seems easier. Your faith becomes your answer. Faith reminds you that every setback has a purpose, that every delay carries a lesson, that every closed door is preparing you for the right one. Faith allows you to stand when circumstances tell you to give up. Faith whispers, keep going. Even when fear is shouting, turn back. Every morning you choose purpose over bitterness, you win. Every morning you choose healing over revenge, you win. Every morning you choose gratitude over regret, you win. These victories may not receive applause, but they build an unshakable life. Every time you refuse to hate, you win. Hatred keeps you tied to the people who hurt you. Forgiveness cuts the rope. Hatred steals your sleep. Forgiveness restores your peace. Hatred asks you to carry yesterday forever. Forgiveness invites you into tomorrow. Every time you refuse to become what hurt you, you win. Do not let betrayal teach you to betray. Do not let lies teach you to lie. Do not let disrespect teach you to disrespect others. Break the cycle. Become the reason kindness still exists. Become the reason hope still survives. Become the proof that pain can shape a person without poisoning their soul. Never shrink because someone failed to recognize your light. The eagle does not ask permission to fly above the storm. The mountain does not lower itself because someone cannot climb it. The ocean does not apologize for its depth, and neither should you apologize for becoming the person you were always meant to be. The sun never apologizes for rising. It shines because that is its purpose. It gives warmth because that is its nature. It rises every morning without asking who believes in it. Neither should you. Rise with confidence, rise with grace, rise with faith. Rise so high that the voices of doubt, rejection, and criticism become nothing more than distant echoes beneath the extraordinary life you are courageous enough to build. The world will always offer reasons to become hard. Someone will disappoint you. Someone will betray your trust. Someone will misunderstand your intentions. Someone will leave without the apology you believed you deserved. Life will place moments before you that whisper, close your heart. Stop trusting. Stop loving. Stop believing. But do not let the pain of one season convince you that kindness is a mistake. Choose compassion. Not because everyone deserves it, but because your heart deserves to remain free. Compassion is not pretending that what happened did not hurt. It is refusing to let hurt become the language of your soul. It is looking at your pain and saying, you will not make me forget who I am. The world will always tempt you toward revenge. It will tell you that revenge is strength. It will tell you that the only way to heal is to make the other person feel the same pain they caused you. But revenge is a prison with beautiful decorations. It promises satisfaction. It delivers emptiness. It keeps your eyes fixed on the people who walked away instead of the future waiting ahead of you. Choose wisdom. Wisdom knows that every minute spent trying to punish someone else is a minute stolen from building your own life. Wisdom understands that some battles are won by walking away. Wisdom reminds you that protecting your peace is never a sign of weakness. It is one of the greatest acts of courage. The world will tell you to make them suffer. Life has a better plan. Life invites you to become so whole that their choices no longer define your emotions. Life invites you to become so strong that your happiness is no longer connected to someone else's approval. Life invites you to build a future that is too meaningful to be interrupted by yesterday's heartbreak. That is the victory no one can take from you. Become so fulfilled that their absence no longer feels like a wound. Do not build your identity around who left. Build it around who you are becoming. Fill your life with purpose. Learn something new. Discover your gifts at others. Law again. Dream again. Pray again. Love the life you have instead of mourning the life you imagined. One day, you will wake up and realize that the emptiness has quietly been replaced by gratitude. Not because the memory disappeared, but because your life became bigger than the memory. Become so grounded that rejection cannot shake your identity. People can reject your presence. They cannot reject your worth. People can misunderstand your intentions. They cannot change your purpose. People can walk away from your life. They cannot erase the value that already lives within you. Your identity is too sacred to be placed in the hands of people who are still trying to discover their own. Stand firmly on the truth that your value was never created by human approval. It has always existed. Become so faithful that disappointment strengthens your trust instead of destroying it. Faith is not believing that life will always be easy. Faith is believing that every difficult season is preparing you for a greater one. Faith says, I may not understand this chapter, but I trust that it belongs in my story. Faith reminds you that delays are not denials, closed doors are not the end, and broken hearts can become the birthplace of extraordinary wisdom. Every challenge can deepen your character if you allow it. Every loss can strengthen your spirit if you refuse to surrender. Your future deserves more attention than your past. The past has already spoken. It has already taught its lessons. It cannot give you another tomorrow. Only the future can do that. So stop watering memories that no longer grow. Water your purpose instead. Water your discipline. Water your dreams. Give your energy to the life that is waiting to be created. not the chapter that has already ended. Your purpose deserves more energy than your pain. Pain will always ask for your attention. Purpose asks for your commitment. Pain wants you to stay still. Purpose calls you forward. Pain reminds you of what was lost. Purpose reminds you of what is still possible. Choose purpose. Again and again, even on the days when your heart feels heavy, especially on those days. Do not spend years carrying someone who already walked away. Do not carry their words. Do not carry their rejection. Do not carry their inability to love you the way you deserved. Those burdens were never yours to keep. Set them down. Leave them behind. Travel lighter. Carry your dreams instead. Let your dreams become stronger than your regrets. Carry your dignity. Never trade your self-respect for temporary attention. Carry your hope. Hope will help you see possibilities where fear only sees endings. Carry your faith. Faith will steady your steps when the road ahead seems uncertain. Faith will remind you that every sunrise is another invitation to begin again, and every single day. Wake up with gratitude instead of resentment. Walk with courage instead of fear. Speak with kindness instead of bitterness. Love yourself enough to protect your peace. Keep your head high. Keep your heart open. Keep your spirit unshaken. Walk forward with the quiet confidence of someone who understands that the greatest victory is not making those who hurt you regret losing you. The greatest victory is becoming so deeply at peace with yourself that their opinions, their absence, and their choices no longer have the power to disturb your soul, because no person on this earth has the authority to decide the value of your spirit, your purpose, or the extraordinary life you were created to live.